What? Ten Hag was ten Hagging. Football left tongues wagging, it's pre-season, so chill with the bragging. Marcus Rashford scored with a tapping. Diogo Dolo overlapping and Sancho sent goalkeeper packing. Fish got a red card, got sent packing. What? Ten Hag was ten Hagging. Football left tongues wagging, it's pre-season, so chill with the bragging. Marcus Rashford scored with a tapping. Diogo Dolo overlapping and Sancho sent goalkeeper packing. Fish got a red card, got sent packing. What?
Yo, this is the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, we're back again with another show. Look, this is OT99 on tour in our rooms. But you know what? We're following the tour. It's looking good. Manchester United got 3 in 3. Plus, we got 3 goals, look, against Crystal Palace, which I think was our most... would you say it's our challenging opposition today? Would you say, or no?
No, I think the
Bit of the youth team.
No, I think this was our easiest one.
Easiest one, okay. Look, we've got 3 in 3. We can only play what's in front of us at the end of the day, but we're gonna break it down real quick. Look, for me, I'm excited, NK. I'm excited because I know people say, it's only pre-season, and people say, you know what, like it's early days, you're not playing a full squad or you're not playing a team that's fit, etc. But what I'm excited for is not the opposition at all. What I'm excited about is us and us only. I'm excited that our team is fit. I'm excited that our team is up to scratch, a team where we're not complaining about in terms of guys huffing and puffing. I'm excited that we're almost in a position where we're ready to go physically and fitness-wise. But also, I see Ten Hag's style of play. I see him implementing his philosophy and his system, which is what excites me. I tweeted before earlier on in the week that I ain't been excited to see a pre-season in a long time. Obviously we've had COVID, so we've been restricted from that. We haven't really had good pre-seasons, Man United as a whole. But 2, I was more excited about who we bought, whether it be Di Maria or something like that. So I'm just glad to see that Manchester United has I'm excited to just see how we play, and it's showing. So what's your thoughts on the game, man? What's your thoughts on what you saw, man?
There was definitely some positive side to it. You can tell the manager kind of system how he want to play. Example how he want how he want his fullbacks to play, how he want his wingers to play, how he want the centre backs to play. So you can kind of see all of that, and you can see players literally trying the manager's idea, in terms of how you want them to play and everything like that. So far I've been impressed with what's going on, especially with the manager trying to kind of get his ideas there. There's still a lot of work to be done too. Today's game, today's game was, I think it was one of those games where it was just we had most of the ball. We didn't really have anything to worry us about. So in terms of our defensive shape, when we lose the ball, we didn't really learn nothing out of that. It was more okay, you have the ball, what you gonna do with it, And I think we created some chances too, which is the positive too. But there's still more to learn about the team as the preseason goes on.
Let's talk about the goals then. So obviously the first goal came from the fullback play. And, we've been crying about our fullbacks and journeying in attacks for the longest of time. And what we're seeing is a transformed Delo. I haven't seen this Delo at Manchester United since he's joined. And I'm glad that Mourinho scouted him and brought him over, because Ten Hag's loving working with him. And then obviously we got Tyrell Malacia and what he done as well. So what we saw is, Tyrell Malacia whip it in with his weaker foot, I would say.
Yeah, weaker foot, yeah.
Weaker foot. And then Delo again, I think he whipped it in with his left, whatever like that, weaker foot.
Yeah.
And then obviously Martial was in the right. He picked that cross nicely. Martial chested it, controlled it nicely, and then slotted it in. But what we're seeing for this team, especially with our fullbacks here, is good high. They're pressed very high up the pitch, and it's very similar to how Ajax team was set up, where they're very high up the pitch. You see Delo making those overlapping plays time and time again with Sancho, and then we see Malacia as well picking his moments when he presses up, when he does his overlapping runs as well. But a lot of the time he'll be cutting inside and supporting the midfield whilst we push up. So for me, I'm really excited about these guys following their instructions, using their weaker foots when they need to, confusing the opposition a little bit. But what was your thoughts with the fullbacks, man?
Yeah, you know what? It's very refreshing seeing Man United fullbacks being high up the pitch. I mean, we've seen Liverpool fullbacks do it from time and time again, where what do you call it? I know Trent will kind of like cross it, and then Roberts will be at the end of it. So it's just kind of like good to just kind of like see that too. Like I was very, very, what do you call it? Impressed with both fullback. Delors, for example, I've been very impressed with him since the whole tour started with his overlap kind of like running. And it's not just the ones that he has kind of like get at the end of it. He's done a lot of like dummy runs where he make the run, he doesn't even get the ball, but then he allowed like the wingers to kind of like use that kind of like decoy run to create space for themselves to pick up a different kind of like pass. So, and he's been doing it for the whole 3 games, every single time, always like bumping up forward. So it was very refreshing too. Malacia too, I think this was like his first that he had on tour too, and I think we were just waiting for what kind of like attacking kind of like thing that he's gonna kind of like bring to, and that ball that he go and then he cross it with his weaker foot. I was very impressed because if it was any kind of like fullback here, they'll probably shift it back onto their left and then go back, and then that chance could have been could have been lost. But it's very positive having our fullbacks as an attacking outlet now, because in a modern game you need that, especially teams that want to win. If you want to win, your fullback need to be a threat going forward. You need them more up front than you probably like depend on them at the back. So very positive sign.
Look, before we get into like the second and third goal, so let's talk about Malacia. So Malacia, right? He stayed on extra, like in that second half when they made the mass substitutions. Erik ten Hag, Malacia stayed on longer. I think he stayed on, I don't even know, 70-something minutes. I don't even know, but he stayed something. He stayed on quite a long time. And what does that give? What sort of message does that tell you? With Tyrell Malacia staying on whilst everyone came on.
Well, you know what? I want to make a big deal out of it, but at the same time too, I'll probably just say maybe it was a Premiership of opposition, and he hasn't played a Premiership yet. So maybe the manager wanted him to kind of like familiarize himself more with like a Premier League kind of like team, especially because he had one where he played against Liverpool, but then this one too is against kind of like a Crystal Palace. So maybe he just wanted to just as low. When we play teams that are going to sit back, maybe I want you to kind of like get yourself used to just of like what kind of like runs I expect of you and everything like that. And also, Luke Shaw didn't even come on at all too. So I don't know what's up with that boy, Prof. I don't really know, because you can tell from him he need more of the fitness than anybody else. So I'm surprised that he didn't do. But you know what? He just need to put in that kind of like same performance in the next like I think 3 more games that's left. And he probably started the season as a left back. I know he will anyway. I feel like he came in to do that, but obviously a lot of people have their doubt. But I don't know. He still got 3 more games to kind of like convince the manager and convince some of the fans that, look, I'm here for that number 1. I'm not here to kind of like play second field to no Luke Shaw, man.
Bro, you know what? I thought that, is he trying to prep this guy and ready this guy for the start of the season by making him stay on extra? But you know what? I mean, it's all good. It's all good sort of situations to have. Look, so Maguire, before the game start, I mean, during the start of the game, I heard like fans booing Maguire, like boo, 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 whatever. For me, I thought that was kind of like crazy, because I know people are probably thinking about they got post-traumatic stress disorder, right? They're looking at what he done previously, and then the last game is, I think, was it the first or the game? Is it a game against Liverpool? No, it was the game against Melbourne, where sort of they got us on a counter attack, and Maguire was sort of, he couldn't keep up with the pace. So I see the fans like booing. What was your thoughts on that? Because for me, I was thinking like, I thought he had a decent game overall. Decent game.
Well, first I would touch on to that whole booing thing. Like when I saw it, I was shocked by it. I was shocked by it. But I read a post too, and then someone probably sent one of the Twitter account to kind of like explain why they were booing him, and they say like, oh, it wasn't necessarily to do with like his average performance, but it's more to do with like his accountability. As a captain, and when he's not playing well, how he doesn't kind of like conduct himself both on the pitch and off the pitch too, with the whole social media thing where he's posting stats even though like his performance doesn't like reflect that, and the whole liking of like Ronaldo kind of like incident too. They also pointed out the fact that since they've been on tour, Bruno has been one of the players that kind of like make an effort in terms of like going to the fans and kind of like engaging with the fans and stuff like that. They expect that more from like their captain and not necessarily like from Bruno alone. So I think that was just kind of like all to do with that, not necessarily like his performance. But today, you know what? His performance, I was actually talking about it, think like I've got to the point where I've actually kind of like embraced myself with Maguire starting the season as a centre back. And the only thing that changed my mind here was the fact that in the second half, I didn't see Eric Bailly or Varane kind of like come onto the pitch, you know. It just, when you're trying to build like a centre-back partnership, you need guys that are going to be fit and available. And you don't want to always be there scratching your head to think like, is this guy going to be able to play or not? You know, and one thing Maguire have over these two guys is that he's always available, you know. He missed the first game against Liverpool, but then since then, he has gone on to have more minutes than those two guys, you know. Even Telles has had more minutes than Eric Bailly and Varane, you know. So it just tells you what it is. I just feel like it's his place to lose. I think that's what the manager's going to be. He's going to make him start probably with Martinez next to him or Lindelof, whoever is, but I feel like it's going to be him and Martinez. So as long as he don't do too much mistake and he don't play like how he played last season, maybe he will keep it. But availability is key. You can be the best of centre backs and the best of players. You still need to be fit and you still need to be available to get picked, man. And I don't see that with the other two just yet.
Fair enough. I think that's a big. I think he's going to have a big part to play. Obviously, Martinez is his only competitor that's going to try and displace him for that left side of the partnership. But it really is about the fitness thing, like you said. Look, going on to the second goal. Look, it's probably one of the best goals of our pre-season. A team goal. A lot of passes involved. Donny van der Beek was involved in that with his cutback as well. And I must say that as well. Like Manchester United are doing a lot of not only just passes, like crosses, but also doing like a lot of cutbacks as well. You see Sancho cutting it back. You see Donny cutting it back. And it helps in terms of us, like these guys picking their passes. So they're having to pick their man, then make that pass back. It shows me that their awareness is a lot higher. And as well, in terms of recycling that ball, we're not seeing wild crosses going off to the other side of the cross corner. And I think Erik ten Hag again has a lot to do with that, because we saw the goal kick that David De Gea done, right? And then we saw what was online about with Erik ten Hag screaming and saying, you know, what the F was that or whatever he said.
Yeah.
So I think like they're very conscious about how they recycle that ball. But the second goal anyway, it was a team effort. And obviously Rashford put it away. What's your thoughts on Donny van der Beek though, in terms of his influence in this team?
Yeah, you know what? The second goal is why probably I just feel like we need that kind of like Donny type of like player playing the 8, you know?
Yeah.
I said that goal to me, it was all about movement. That goal, that's what that goal was, you know, from Rashford to Van der Beek to I don't know who Van der Beek, I think who gave it the ball, but I think it's Sancho. Sancho, that gave it. It was all about the movement, you know. First, I think Rashford had the ball, he gave it to Bruno, and literally continue his run. Van der Beek made that run into the penalty yard box, got it, and they just kind of literally cut back. It was, I think, similar to in the Liverpool game where Rashford had the same similar chance where Sancho cut it back for him, but then he couldn't like put it away. But then this time he was able to kind of like put it away too. That goal just showed me that the players are starting to kind of like trust what the manager are trying to do, you know. So being able to like say, for example, like in that goal, the guy that was more impressive in that goal was like Rashford, because you can tell from the game that the instructions to him was hug the touchline. But at the same time, while the manager is telling you that, you still need to be able to sense danger to know that when the ball is on the other side, I can still position myself in this danger position to be at the end of the goal. And I feel like that's where he kind of like done that. And I was very kind of like impressed with that. But with Van der Beek, you can tell the difference with when he came on compared to when McTominay was there, you know. One touch passing, making that forward pass into like, the penalty box, and just literally, I don't know, being like a link-up kind of like that. I was very impressed. But I think we need that, you know. We need that. Slowly, I think the manager is slowly, he started with the same thing that we all used with the whole McFred and everything, with like even show like at the fullback. I think slowly as time is going on, He's starting to take the ones that don't really fit too much or not understanding what he means, and he's slowly bringing in the players that will kind of like just do that. So we are kind of like working our way into the first 11 for that Brighton game, and I feel like slowly he's kind of like picking and choosing and correcting some of like the position in there.
Before we get onto the third goal, right? You talked about Ten Hag just now, like gradually picking his team, getting ready for his first team, getting ready for Brighton. We've seen the partnership of McFred in all pre-season so far, right? They haven't been broken. He hasn't experimented with playing De Jong. Sorry, not De Jong. I wish De Jong. Donny van der Beek as part of the double pivot. He hasn't experimented with that. He's just gone McFred, and then second half will bring on whoever he wants to bring on, Savic and Iqbal. What's your thinking behind that?
Or with my friend partnership.
Yeah, as in Erik ten Hag's decisions to always start with them for one, and two, not breaking up that partnership.
Well, the thing is, he's already come up and said that he preferred to use Donny as a 10, not as the 8 or 6, you know. And as you know, we're trying to get a defensive midfielder in Frankie de Jong. That hasn't been able to do. We signed Eriksen, but we didn't do it in time for him to join the preseason. So he has to give those two boys a chance to see whether they can adapt to what he want to do, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about the last two games, but I feel like the other games here, McTominay was the one who was more playing as the 6, and then Fred was more advanced. Mm-hmm. But today he kind of like switched it up where Fred was more like the 6, and then McTominay was the 8. So you can see that he's kind of like experimenting in those kind of a position, and even in other positions too, you know. Yeah. He's kind of like experimenting like with it. And today I think McTominay as the 8, he just wasn't doing enough, you know. He just wasn't doing enough. He just wasn't joining in with the attack to help with the attack, and then defensively too, he just wasn't doing it too. So eventually he got taken off, and I was very surprised because he was the only sub that got taken off by himself. Yeah. Was supposed to get 60. So to me, that's sent a big message out there. I was even surprised that Donny didn't even start the whole preseason as the 8 or 6, because I've seen him at Ajax where when he like in that position, he do that. But I think Ten Hag is smart. I think what he does is he's actually giving all these players a chance where we have a doubt that he cannot play system, and then he's making them play themselves out of the first 11. So if they're not picking them, nobody can say, oh, I didn't even get a chance. I gave you a chance, you messed up, and that's why you're out of the first 11. I think that's what he's doing, to be honest, which is very smart.
Let's go, I'll say. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see what he does, because it was a bit baffling to me. I was always thinking that Donny's going to be part of the pivot. So when Erik ten Hag saying, yeah, like, you know, number 10, and then we're bringing in Eriksen, and we've got Bruno already, and also Sancho could even play there if he wanted to. It was just a bit of a surprise, but at the same time, yeah, look, I would like to see Donny play there just for my own peace of mind to understand, yeah, like, can he handle the rigors, especially against Premier League teams in that double pivot in this new system? So look, for the third goal, we saw the classic counter-attack, the beautiful counter-attack. Sancho showed that composure, sort of running one-on-one, and he slotted it like with so much finesse. It was beautiful. Picked his spot, boom. No messing around, no hanky-panky, no trying to round, no keeper. Slotted it in. Look, Manchester United, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of that because of our high pressing, because of our, you see our forwards pressing from the front. We see Martial yet again. We see Sancho, Rashford. Our front line's doing a lot more work where our midfield can push up higher, defense can push up higher. We can win the ball. Bruno was saying it as well in his interview. We can win the ball up higher. We'll be closer to goal. We can make a greater impact like that. And when we got this counter attack and Sancho was on the move, like, it's just another example of like some of our hard work and our efforts to win the ball back quicker and sooner. And it gives us opportunities where they're out of position, the opposition. They've got big gaps in their defense now, and we're able to exploit that. So what's your views on like Sancho's goal, man? Look, has he got, what is it, 2 in? Is it 3 in or 2 in?
I think he got 2 goals now. Yeah, he got 2 goals now, you know. And he need that, you know. He needed a goal because it's been deserved of his performance, you know. I think today he started a bit kind of like quiet and then eventually kind of like going to the game and everything like that. But sometimes you want to create, but then other times you want to be at the end of that kind of a goal. And it was a classic United counter-attack, you know. The three up front, they're very quick. They go at the pace. They can press high up the pitch, and when you leave space in behind too, they can hit you too, man, you know. And that was a very nice assist from Martial to give to Sancho. And you know what, I think it reminded me of the goal that he scored against Chelsea when we hit it on the counter and he just got in, and it was just very simple to just go. So yeah, he deserved his goal, man. He deserved to go. It just shows you that we're just not going to be just about possession too. At times too, when we get a chance, we can break and we would just move the ball quicker and just go score them too. So it was just, I think all three goals were just different type of goals, which was very refreshing and very good to kind of like see.
I think overall in this game, what impressed me the most is that we played as a team. There was no like, this guy was the one that saved our preseason, that saved that game, or this one is the, you know, like before last season it was Bruno that was digging us out of a hole, or Ronaldo or something like that. Now it's more of a collective team effort. The goals you can see came from team effort, and that's impressive for me because I feel like now like Bruno Fernandes, he's cut down all of his wild passing quite a lot, and he's recycling the ball better, and it gives me more confidence that if we're still functioning and he's in it, he can be removed and we're still going to be functioning. We're talking about Eriksen potentially replacing him. People are saying that's better quality in terms of finding a man in the final third. Look, we're talking, having discussions about Eriksen and Bruno now swapping, and it's good, man. It makes me feel good that it's, you know, the system play. You look at Liverpool when they play the youngsters in their cup games, and you're just like, why is this team beating a Premier League team when they're putting on all their youngsters? And it used to frustrate me. And it was just like, now you can see like what it means when you're playing in a system like ours. So I'm excited about that overall. And look, I'm looking forward to the next game. Look, we've got Aston Villa, and then we've got Atletico Madrid. Which one of those games do you think is? And then we got Rayo Vallecano or something along those lines.
I think the Villa game will be a good test for us, you know, because they will probably give up. I think, you know, because Crystal Palace, a lot of their players were missing because I think they couldn't get a visa to go to Australia due to the vaccination thing. So they were missing a lot of like their players. So we couldn't really get a full strength thing. Villa, I just want to see Villa, you know. How would they do? I think probably couldn't be similar to how the Liverpool game was, where they were kind of like exposing us on the counter attack and we're just always on that. I want to see that. I want to see how the team, when they lose the ball high up the pitch, how quick can they regroup to kind of like stop the counter, you know, and just start kind of like defending too. So I'm more looking forward to like the Aston Villa game. I think that will be like the final preparation for us, because when we go back to the other players need to come inside with like Eriksen and everything. So yeah, I want to see that. And I think that was going to be the last Premiership opposition that we play before the Brighton game too. So I'm looking forward to the Aston Villa game. They got good quality centre-backs, strong ones, physical ones. So I want to see how the centre-backs do, like especially Maguire. I want Maguire to get test high up the pitch to see, can they deal with it, you know, pace or no pace? Like, can you deal with it? Can you be smart? Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, and I think so as well. And I think one of the big concerns, you know, that's gonna, one is how we handle that counter attack, because we push so high up the line, and two, set pieces as well. With Martinez coming in, he's not as tall. Malacia being not as tall. We're going to be dependent on Varane if he can stay fit. Maguire's the only one that provides that aerial sort of, you know, because Lindelof don't really. And then Baye again if he can stay fit. So my thing is about the set pieces, how we manage that going forward. Hopefully not giving away too many set pieces, and then obviously how we manage the press. But who was your man of the match? So I'll give you mine. Mine was Martial, because for me, I didn't talk about him too much. Obviously, him putting away that goal, we didn't talk about him too much here. But Martial, how he's been influenced the game is crazy. The dynamic partnership between him, Rashford, Sancho, it's crazy. And for me, he's in such good spirits. I ain't seen a guy smile so much in a long time. And yeah, I think in this vein of form, it will be crazy to bench him when you're going into the game against Brighton. That said, though, Cristiano Ronaldo is obviously coming back, and you'll know how he is. And it's just going to be interesting to understand how the manager handles that dynamic. Obviously, he might have some grace period because he hasn't done pre-season, Ronaldo, and he may be able to say, oh, you need to get back up to fitness levels or speed. But then eventually through the season it'll be interesting because Martial wants that hug. He needs to be feeling a main man.
Yeah.
We did that to him before. We buoyed him with Zlatan. Well, he went into a sunken place. So hopefully we can maintain his confidence. But he was my man of the match today. Who was yours and why?
You know what? Because you chose Martial, I'm not gonna choose him, but I'm actually gonna give it to Maguire today. Because in terms of in possession, his distribution was very, very good, switching up the play.
Yeah.
As I said to you, Rashford was told to hug the touchline. And the amount of time that Maguire was switching it to give it to Rashford for them to kind of start the play from there was very good. He still needs to be tested defensively to see what he can do there. But today, in terms of the passing aspect of it, I even saw him be aggressive too, come out of the pitch and kind of win the ball today too. So with the criticism that he has come under and the whole kind of pressure, I feel today he was very, very comfortable, very, very comfortable today, and he was just doing that, being the distribution from the back. So I'll have to give him some, some good words today. Normally we don't do that, but yeah. Maguire for me today.
Look, you hear it first, man. NK giving Maguire man of the match, and it's not even a joke. Look, where is Edwin? Where is he? Because look, this is crazy. But you know what? You heard it from us first. That look, there's a lot to be optimistic about. Manchester United has got 3-3. We're playing to a system. Guys are fighting. They're pressing. Erik ten Hag has got high standards, as you can see. He doesn't like mistakes. He don't like the BS. And look, the players, most importantly, are buying into that way of playing. So look, I'm excited for the season to start now. And it's not even look, we've got players in. We've got Eriksen and we've got Malacia, fair enough. But I'm excited for the season to go, not because of players. And that's a big, big thing. So look, until then, man, we're going to catch you on Aston Villa, catch you on Atletico Madrid, and hopefully catch you on Rayo Vallecano, if I pronounce it right.
Yeah.
And then give our feedback. But until then, hold tight.
Peace.
Drink loads of water. Stay in the shade. 40 degrees out here. There's no smoke without fire. Peace.